I love thunderstorms. Welcome to the here and now. Today I'm going to talk about what mindfulness is, and if I have time, I'll briefly touch on how this practice naturally reduces the need or eliminates the urge to use or to stay addicted. Not that we really put forth any effort to stay addicted. It's pretty effortless. Mindfulness for me at first was an escape. I was able to escape whatever it was I was dealing with. Emotions were never easily handled, and I had no comprehension or even awareness that there was an ability to step out of it, right? Well, once the idea was introduced to me, I started exploring it more, right? I had a pretty open mind, and that really helps when you're first starting out practicing mindfulness. The mind is the biggest obstacle overall, but having an open one means that you're more willing to adhere to or at least explore suggestion. So the suggestion that you have another choice, that your reaction doesn't have to be that reaction. Let's explore this more, right? Instead of no. You get what I'm saying? However, the conceptualization or suggestion, the inclination, the curiosity is only the first step. One of the things that made it really easy for me to further explore this objectivity or this possibility that there's an objective ability to pull myself away from the emotions I was feeling at the moment was feeling itself. Now, I'm not referring to being identified with whatever mental emotional pattern you're experiencing, but feeling the body, inhabiting the body. Because essentially what you're doing when you turn your attention to the body, the nerves inside your fingers and toes and knees and elbows and neck and everywhere are all constantly sending signals through the bioelectricity running through the nervous system of your body. So there's a constant communication. When you, to hear, right? Well, when you turn that attention back in on itself, there's a loop created. And you sense a state of wholeness. Like, oh, I'm here. That is you. Now, when you're identified with mind, that's still also you because you're still inhabiting the body. Yet, just as if you, say for example, you imagine falling into a pool of icy water. Did you feel a little on your shoulders? When you really put yourself there and immersed, your body had a response. So even though your body wasn't physically experiencing it, your consciousness, putting itself in that position mentally, created a physical response in the body. This is what we do all goddamn day long with stress and shit, right? Now, addicts actually have a special opportunity since they are addicts. Because essentially, the core of the ego is an addict. They are addicted to thinking. They are unable to detach from thinking and inhabit their body again. And all the realizations that come along with inhabiting the body. Because once you're fully, trust me, it took me years, even before I understood the body thing. I would understand it and I would go, oh, that's so peaceful. And I would be identified with it, right? Oh, I'm the meditator. So it was just another identity. I didn't experientially know. I conceptually knew and knew all these things to be true. I didn't fully know it until I fully knew and understood what myself was. So, in essence, when you are in a state of anxiety or a state of high emotional intensity, hysteria, whatnot, the consciousness that you are it's still there. It's still, obviously. But it's extremely hard in those extremely stressful states to break out of it, not only because of the heavily identified self that you create out of that situation. Someone rear-ends you. That's a very highly charged emotional situation. It's hard to pull yourself out of that when you're heavily identified with it. And also, the body's processes that are put into that state, once it's set off, make it so that it will be continuing. Even if you have a collapse of ego, that very moment, the effects that the initial stressed out state put you in, or that you had when you were put in that stressful state, linger. The key to becoming mindful in these situations, because it's easy when you're by yourself and you sit still and you feel your hands, right? And you see if there's feeling in your hands. But in these situations, you're not going to have any control over it at first. Just forget about it. What you can do, and what allows you to eventually get control over the situation, is to just watch it. Back here, and even if it's just a little reminder, like, oh, you're not being present. Oh, it's coming, You might even react negatively to the voice, because I know I do. Like, shut the fuck up. I'm busy tearing this person's fucking head off because that's the way I want to feel right now. So, being aware of that, though, even if it's only in incremental little pieces right before you fucking pop off, it adds another dimension slowly to the point where you get used to it. It becomes something that is second nature. You're able to catch yourself every time you go off. Don't judge yourself for going off. Everybody's in this. Everybody. Forgive yourself for it, because any additional resistance you put on is just more mind stuff. It's just more stuff to keep you in that mental emotional pattern. But that added dimension in and of itself is a door, right? Because just knowing that you're the knowing and not the emotion automatically starts drawing energy from it, naturally. So that's the essence of mindfulness. Like I said before, addicts have a special, I don't want to say advantage, But when they break their addiction, that is also the ego breaking. Not all the time, but for people that are able to find, I mean, AA refers to it as the higher power, right? I don't like using the higher power because it denotes another thing to be separate from. I like to say that it comes from within, because then in and of yourself you are whole. And that's the state that is up. That is the state. That is you. Whole. Your mind thinks you're not. So, got on long enough. I'll do another video about how you can specifically apply mindfulness techniques to states that you're in when you need to fix. Because that's where the money is, right? That's the actual nitty-gritty problem. Especially for those fresh in recovery when the urge hits. So, till next time, stay present.